Okay. All right, thanks, Rajat. And then we'll be going through a scenario in which a person is at V40 and he wants to get to V42. Now, these are real scenarios, but I will not be using the names here. If you associate with the study that I present to you and you feel free to, and you're okay to let us know, feel free to raise your hands and then let us know that this is you, okay, if you do want to disclose that. All right. So again, as Rajat said, this is not a private tutoring session. We are not going to be doing, taking up doubts in SCCR, RC, or quant. This is purely a strategy type of a session. So to begin with, I'll actually take up a case of a person who got verbal 19, and he sent us an email saying, I got verbal 19 despite blah blah blah, and I'm going to be talking about that blah 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 here. And then we'll see whether his verbal 19 was actually truly an unexpected score, or was this something which was bound to happen. So all right, so this person started his prep with a Manhattan Review mock, and he got a 520. He went through a Manhattan Review classroom course. 1 month into the course, he again takes a mock, again a Manhattan Review mock, he gets a 590. Carries on with the course, doing the same thing. So half month into the course, he takes another Manhattan Review, and he gets a 670. He thinks he's doing decently well, but then he decides to change course. And now he actually continues to do the same thing. And then another half month, he basically takes a GMAT prep test, and now he's at 550. So then he thinks, okay, he hasn't done much. He hasn't been able to improve because he's pretty much at a similar score. And then he takes up e-GMAT course, but he's not able to do the course in a wholehearted manner. He's not able to embrace the change methodology. 3 weeks into the test, 3 weeks into his course, he takes up another GMAT prep mock test, and in this also he gets a 550. And then 1 week into the course, he basically takes up a repeat of this mock test, the one in which he got 550. He scores a 580. And now, this person thinks that, time management is a major issue because of how he is progressing, and he says that he thinks that time management is an issue because he has to guess in the last 7 to 10 questions. Then he also says that, and again, these things in the yellow sticky notes are things exactly taken from his email. So he also says that though I improved my understanding of GMAT using the verbal online course and scored well, accuracy more than 75%, while solving the individual verbal questions, I found it difficult to incorporate or succeed in the mock and the final exam. So again, what he's saying is that when he is in a non-exam setting, he's able to do well. But when he is in an exam setting, he's not able to do well. And again, he relates that back to the time management issues that he thinks is the major thing. He adds, I did attend a free strategy session 1 month before the exam, but I admit that I couldn't fully incorporate it in my schedule. I was concentrating on adapting e-GMAT strategy from my earlier one. So again, he was not able to, he admits that he was not able to assimilate the e-GMAT strategy in his preparation. So given this progression, this data over here, plus the conclusions that he's arriving at, as soon as I read that email, I'm like, okay, this wasn't, his verbal 19 was not a surprise to me. How many people are surprised, show of hands, to see that despite this kind of mock score progression, would he have gotten V19 or would he have not gotten V19? Show of hands, V19 expected or not? Okay. All right. So few of you think that V19 was expected. Now, what did he, definitely V19 was expected, but what did he do wrong? He changed his strategy midway in his prep but he did not embrace the new strategy. Granted, he had 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a decent amount of time to prepare using our course, if and only if you embrace the strategy, right? But he did not. He took mocks without any strategy. He went from one mock to another, but he didn't do anything with learnings from his initial mock. He got a 550 here in the GMAT prep mock. He didn't question himself that why is he getting 550. He got a 550 again, right? He didn't question himself. He kept doing the same things. Now, if you continue doing the same things, you can't expect to get different results. That's what this person did. Okay. um, and he didn't do anything between the mocks to improve. Like whenever you do mocks need to be a way for you to do some change in your course of preparation. If you're still doing the same things in the same manner, then there is no point in you taking the mocks, right? This person did not do that. Rajat, do you want to add anything here?
Number of things. So first of
Mhm.
all, if you are scoring less than V30 and blaming timing, you're wrong. Okay. You're absolutely wrong. You can't say I'm scoring a V19 and I say time management is the reason why I score V19. No, that does not work, my friend. Uh, if you are in the 60-70 percentiles, yes, time management is pushing you back. But you can get a V19 even if you just solve the first 20 questions properly. Okay, time is not your enemy there. It's your ability to apply the process that is your enemy. Okay. Even if you just say I'm going to solve 30 questions and do them well, you'll still get better than a V19 on the actual GMAT or even a V25. Okay. The second thing, GMAT is a test of application. I've said this numerous times. Okay, and what it really means is when you make the statement, I improve my understanding of GMAT while using verbal online, but by the way, I can't apply those strategies on the test, then knowing those strategies is not useful to you. I mean, frankly, the only reason why you're learning how to solve sentence correction, how to solve critical reasoning questions is to do well on the GMAT. After the GMAT, no one cares whether how well you know SCC or RC. I mean, those are things that will help you do well on the business school, but no one cares about them, frankly, unless and until you want to come back to and work for us. So. I mean, if you're learning a method and you think it's a good method, apply it in the test. Otherwise, there's no point learning it.
Frankly, you should not even go from one section to another if you are not able to apply the learnings of that section in an exam setting or in a mock exam setting. You prepare for SC. If you feel that you are still not able to apply the process on SC, then there is no point in moving on to CR. I mean, you're just doing the ticking the check boxes. That's not how it works. Ultimately, it's your performance in the test that matters.
Yeah, I mean, doing the course does not help you. Embracing the course helps you.
Right. I mean, going through the motions doesn't help at all.
Yes. The other piece, which is there's a reason why you should take a mock. Okay. In this case, what I really see is the reason is desperation to say, where am I? Where am I? But yes, and that's okay if it's okay to take a mock to figure out where you are. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you take a mock. But after that, you've got to evaluate why your score is what it is, right? And you've got to have a plan to really say, if I'm at point X, I want to get to Y. Here are the 4 steps that I'm going to really do. I mean, all of you are going to do an MBA, and one of the things that managers do is, whether it's revenue, costs, profitability. If you are at point X and you want to go to point Y, you really say, these are the 4 things that will take me from point X to point Y. That's the same thing that you've got to do with a mock. To really say, if I'm at a V30, this is what is going to take me to V35. And these are the 3 things that I'm going to do really well. Or if I faltered in the mock, do causal analysis. Why did I falter? Was I faltering from the get-go, which is in the first 20 questions? Or did I falter after the first 20 questions because, I had timing pressure and I couldn't think properly, but at least my first 20 questions were decent. Again, or did I falter in a particular topic, etc., etc. But without doing that causal analysis, you won't have those 3 or 4 things that you want to improve from mock 1 to mock 2 to mock 3. Okay. One last piece, take a reputed mock. Bad input leads to bad output. Okay. I mean, that's all that I would really say.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Is there anyone out there whose journey is similar to this person's journey? May not be a V19, but a V22, V23.
Okay. Admin, I'm not sure what his real name is, but it appears as admin, and Abhishek. Okay.
Okay.
And Manisha too. All right. So now, is this helpful? All right. Dipesh as well.
Okay.
Is this
Yes.
helpful? Whatever we just covered, is that something that you can take away with you guys?
And we're going to provide a bit more detail into what Payal said when you're doing the SC course or when you're doing SC, evaluate yourself. And then we're going to respond to also reputed mocks. What do we mean by those? And so that there are a couple of slides down the line.
Okay. Manisha has a question, Rajat. So let's just hear her question, and then we can see if we have covered
Sure.
that.
I'm going to mute myself.
Payal, actually, when I'm applying those concepts and under pressure, under any time pressure, I'm not able to perform well, like an SC, be it CR or RC.
Okay, so Manisha, we will take your question towards the end because we will end up covering that in the next slide.
I just want to make one comment. Manisha, when you solve a question in the test, do you have one eye on the clock?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
That's the problem. You have to be focused just on the question.
Okay.
Okay, that's one piece. The second thing is, how do you prepare yourself for the exam? Is the key question, I think. Payal, let's get that answer, and then our answer, we're going to put that towards the end, right?
Yes.
Tell me, how do you prepare yourself for the exam?
Like before the exam, you're asking before the exam, how do I?
Yes, what do you do?
Like before the mock test, like I'm not getting your question actually.
Okay. So let me tell you, when I go for a workout, I make sure that my body is relaxed. I make sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What do you do for a mock?
Yeah.
To do this, what is the equivalent of that for a mock? Because a mock is a workout and a long workout.
Yeah, I appear for the mock in the afternoons, and before that, like I relax a lot. Like I'll do in the real GMAT, and I just relax.
What's the equivalent of warm up, Manisha? That's the question.
What's the warm up?
Sorry?
Yes.
What is the warm up for your mock?
What is the warm up for the mock test?
Like I recollect all the concepts which I have studied in like e-GMAT or anything I have studied. I recall them.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Like in CR, what all things I've studied, assumptions, inference, how to approach those questions, and SC, how will I approach those strategies which I have in my mind. I just recollect them.
Okay. So hold on. We'll respond to this. Thank you for that piece of information. Then we're going to provide some more information and ask you a cross question towards the end. Okay, let me note that down.
Okay, so Raja, should I move ahead or you want to respond to that right now?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Okay. Payal, let's move on.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said don't move right now.
No. I said.
Okay. All right. So this one, again, we are not going directly into the exam readiness thing. This is another case study which I wanted to show you. Example of hopefully the example of what not to do. So so this person took the exam despite a bad GMAT prep score. Why? Because he got these scores in his mocks, so in his 800 score mocks. So he got a V35, V24, V39, V33, and V38. In Kaplan mocks, he got V27 and then a V28. Looking at these two sets of scores, which by the way he took before he took the GMAT prep test, in the GMAT prep test he got a V25. In Scholaranium, he got 52%, right? So despite getting a V25 and 52% in Scholaranium, this person thought, I will still go ahead and take my GMAT because of the scores that I had gotten in my 800 score test and in my Kaplan mocks. And any guesses of what his score was? His final score was still V25, Q49. and he comes again. This person realized that he may not be able to do well, but still he had that little bit of wishful thinking that, maybe something happens during the exam that I am able to do well because of my performance in the 800 in the past, in the 800 score marks. So what this person did wrong, he closed his eyes to the truth. He's like that pigeon who didn't want to see any danger coming. So he just closed his eyes and he went ahead and took the test, right? He did not. And after I got this email, I thought, okay, let me go ahead and take a look at how this person prepared. So I went and checked his account. What I found was that this person had only gone through our concept files and our application files. He had not looked at any of our articles. He had not looked at any of our OG quizzes, which to me is an indication that while going through the course, he did not attempt OG questions. Probably because he had already attempted OG questions in the past, or maybe he thought that he can leave OG questions in the end. But he did not go through the course in the right manner as we tell people to go through the course. OG questions have to be done when they have been indicated in the course.
So I'll say one thing. When you get a study plan, it's a very detailed study plan. Got lots of cells in Excel, and it can be intimidating. But there's one thing that I would really say is there's a certain science behind it, and this one step, if I were to really say, and we've been tracking the success of our students since we launched, which was 2nd of August 2010, and this is one step that I've found that people who do this step do really well on the GMAT. This is one reason why when you look at the official solutions that we provide, they're very comprehensive. We've spent upwards of 1,500 hours creating those solutions, and there's a certain reason why we spend a lot of time adding all that detail, even though we don't sell those solutions. They're just added as a part of the course to them because of the benefit that they provide. If you solve the OG questions, even if you solve them, but if you apply the process on the OG questions, what you're going to find is in applying the same process on the actual exam becomes a lot more easy. Okay, so that's something which is very, very important. Solve the OG questions, you'll get the confidence, you'll get that familiarity with the process, and you will see that where you're that you'll see exactly where you're making the mistake right from the get-go. Okay, Payal.
How many people, show of hands, attempt OG quizzes or have attempted OG quizzes when asked in the study plan? Okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, quite a few. Okay, for people who do not, please take this as a corrective action in your preparation, that when you are going through any module, you have to do the OG questions when you have been recommended to do that, when you've been asked to do that. You are almost required to do OG questions. Okay, it's not even a recommendation. Even if you've done these questions in the past, do not worry about remembering the answers. It's okay even if you remember the answers. Why is that okay? Because now you are solving these questions with a new process that you are learning, right? So the exercise of doing step 1, step 2, step 3, regardless of whether you already know the answer, is still a very fruitful exercise in cementing the process in your mind.
The core thing is not to just say, okay, I'm able to solve this correctly or not. The core thing is, when I see the answer, am I 100% sure that this is the answer and that every other answer choice does not even come close? You have to have that clarity.
When you are solving OG questions, each of the 5 answer choices you need to be thorough with. By that, what I mean is, as Rajat said, you need to know exactly why each answer choice is wrong except for the correct answer. You need to know what makes the correct answer choice right. In a CR question, you need to know what makes that, what wording in that answer choice makes that as a correct answer. In the incorrect answer choices, why are these incorrect answer choices wrong? That level of analysis is required when you attempt OG quizzes. That level of analysis is required when you are reviewing any of the questions that you are solving on the e-GMAT platform, whether that's e-GMAT question, whether that's an OG question. Because solving questions is something that comes very naturally. I mean, yes, I always like to see, okay, ye wala question I actually did correct. This other question I did not do correct, right? So that's always a nice thing to see. But it's the hard work that you need to put in after you've solved the question that makes that solution of the question worthwhile.
I'll tell you one thing, right? Uh, till about 4 years ago, I wasn't a GMAT expert. Payal was not a GMAT expert. I mean, we both of us had. I was running a business for Honeywell. Payal was working for Honeywell Aerospace. She was actually contracting for NASA over here. We had to learn things ourselves, and the way we learn things ourselves is by following that approach, where we said, "Hey, am I absolutely certain this is the answer?" I mean, for us, because we are instructors, we actually go even 2 steps even further to really say, can we make 2 derivative questions out of which combine 3 other questions that are official, and test our students with the same logic. And by the way, make those questions in such a manner where if the students go wrong, we can kind of figure out why they would go wrong. Okay, but bottom line is, you've got to know. You've got to be absolutely clear as to why a particular question is why a particular answer choice is correct. Again, coming back to a leading indicator that we rarely see in strategy emails is, I have a V22, V23, but by the way, I get confused between 2 answer choices. I'm able to narrow it down to 2, but I always get confused. If you are at V22 and you make that statement, this means you did not do the OG questions properly. I can really tell you that. If you're at V37, you make that statement, I can understand. But not at V22, V23.
Yep. Then you're giving yourself too much credit for narrowing it down to two answer choices. Because remember, what's happening at V25? You are not getting difficult questions at all.
Very few.
You're getting very few difficult questions. And so if in those easy or medium level questions, you are able to shortlist, you are down to 2 answer choices. That means you haven't even, touched the crux of the question. Because those are easy questions to begin with. Now, the same thing, if it happens, if you are at V37, now you are getting difficult questions. So now in the last 2 choices of those difficult questions, there would be a complication which you may not be able to get despite applying the process. That is still okay, right? But saying that, okay, I can narrow it down to 2 answer choices, I'm stuck there, you're just giving yourself too much credit if you are at less than V34, I would say. Okay.
Let's move forward. We are at halfway down.
Yeah. Okay, so how to avoid such catastrophes? Trust GMAT prep. Trust Scholaranium and Veritas prep tests as well, if you have to use those tests as a score predictor.
So let me just add something over here, guys. So with Scholaranium, you have the equivalent of almost 10 verbal mock, well, almost 8 verbal mock tests. In fact, in about Krishna is there. Krishna is leading this. So probably, Krishna, what shall I say? In about 2 weeks, we should have the release. If you're still there, Krishna.
Sorry?
No, R. Krishna.
So the e-GMAT Krishna.
The e-GMAT Krishna, sorry.
Is he still there, Payal? Because I don't have the dual monitor.
I don't see his webcam on. He may have dropped off.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone. Okay. Okay. So in about 2 weeks.
So in about 2 weeks, you're going to see an update to Scholaranium where we will have what we call as ability quizzes, and you'll have a SCCR and RC ability quiz, which are canned quizzes. You will even have a verbal ability quiz, which is kind of equivalent to a verbal mock, which will tell you, and you'll have the ability to make, or at least if you're starting from a blank account, at least 10 verbal ability quizzes. Which is equivalent to 10 verbal mocks, I would say. Or if you have an account that you've already used, then you'd be able to make 5 or 6 ability quizzes still for verbal. But for evaluation and for getting a realistic score evaluation, you have 4 mocks from GMAT Prep. You have Scholaranium. I would say in addition to that, for evaluation and getting a realistic estimate test, Veritas Prep. Use Veritas Prep tests, but nothing else. All the other tests out there, you may use them for practice, you may use them as source of questions, but please don't use them as accurate predictors of performance. Okay, I mean, there's a reason why we invested in upwards of 5,000 hours right now in Scholaranium.
Okay, and then we've already gone over timing is not a problem if you are scoring lower than 32. Then it is really your conceptual issues, your application of process. All right, so Rajat, the next slide, I talk about all these things. I think we can look at that later, right?
Okay, we should look at them later. Yes.
Yeah. So let's look at the case study. Now, this case study
This is the third case study, by the way.
Yes. Now, in this case study, we're going to be talking about, we will be dealing with it in quite a bit of detail. As you can see, there are 7 slides just on this case study. So to begin with, I'm going to be talking about the profile of this person. This person has completed the e-GMAT course. His GMAT Prep 1 score was 720, Veritas Prep 680, in which he got 1 SC wrong and 9 RC wrong. Okay, so Pradeep is raising his hand. Let me see why. Okay, Pradeep?
It's his thing, I think.
Yeah, it's my profile.
It's his profile, right?
Yes, but I was actually confused about your name. Is it Priyanka or is it Pradeep?
No, actually, I used my father's card, so it went to Pradeep. So I didn't correct it.
Oh,
actually, my Priyanka.
Oh, your name is Priyanka. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Priyanka. So again, Priyanka, during this presentation, if I use some, so if I say some things that you should not have done this way, you should not have done that way, don't take it too hard. Okay, so I'll
for
be
learning. For learning, I should be shameless.
Okay, all right. So I like that approach.
That's a good attitude.
Okay, all right. So Veritas Prep, he got 680. He got 1 SC wrong and 9 RC wrong. And Manhattan 640, V33. And overall in Scholaranium, he's at 79% ability in SC, 73% ability in CR, and in RC he's at 58%. So he's currently at V34 and he wants to get to V40, and he sent me an email saying that how can I do that? So a pretty interesting profile. So my initial thing, and he also suspected that he needs to improve in RC. So this is something that he was able to figure out. And RC, it's pretty clear. There are a couple of indicators that tell us that he needs to improve in RC. First of all, his so looking at Scholaranium abilities, he's at 58% in RC in Scholaranium. So that's a very, very big indicator. Another indicator is that look at his Veritas Prep test. He got 1 ST wrong, but 9 RC wrong. So it is clear that RC is the thing that is bringing him down, right? So these 2 indicators were pretty, solid to tell us that RC is something that he needs to focus on to begin with. Now, so now what I'll do is I'll basically tell him and all of you that given that he has completed the course, given that he has attempted these many questions in Scholaranium, given that we know that he needs to improve in RC, how is it that he can now improve in RC? So what is it that he should be doing, say, tomorrow when he resumes his studies? Yes. So first thing is, all of the passages, and I believe, Pradeep, you have done about 27 passages in Scholaranium. So you should take up one passage at a time and reread that passage with the intent of understanding that passage. Forget about the questions for now, but reread that passage with the intent of understanding the passage, with that intent that, okay, after reading this passage, I should be able to summarize this passage to my friend, right? With that intent, read that passage, apply the reading strategies that you've learned. Then, review the passage summary in detail. Do not go to answer the questions. Review the passage summary in detail and figure out where all you went wrong. In Scholaranium and in the e-GMAT course, you know that we have such detailed solutions, right? At this point in time, you should be comparing your notes or how you read the passage with how the passage summary has been presented to you, right? Each and every paragraph each and every group of lines has been explained in that tabular format, right? Do that match. Figure out where you went wrong. Take notes. One thing, Pradeep, that I found was in your account, and I will be going into that, is that you have not taken even a single note. you have not even bookmarked even a single question. That is not how you review things. When you are solving these many questions, Rajat, I think I should show his account here,
No,
right?
no, Payal, hold on. I think
Okay.
there's one thing. He bookmarked 9 questions, only one in RC, if I remember correctly. If
Only
that's
one in RC, yes, only
okay.
one.
But I think there's one thing that I want to really say. Whatever we are saying over here, Payal, if you can stop sharing.
Sure.
Okay, whatever we are doing over telling you guys, we do that ourselves. I mean, this is an RC question that we are reviewing right now, which we will be putting 13 more RC passages in the course. This is something that Neeti created, and I am looking at that, and this is the feedback that you can really see. This is my notes on the sheet of paper that I'm doing right now, and I have 10 others stacked up over here, which I've revised. So we do this ourselves. We solve it ourselves, even though it's created by an expert. And we make sure that what we write and what they write match. You should do that too. You would see that improvement happens within 4 or 5 passages. You don't need to solve 20 passages.
Yeah. It's okay to take printouts of the passage. Now, you may argue that, so when you are taking the test, you won't have that luxury. That's okay. You are learning right now. Because once you get into the habit of taking a printout, reading it, because that comes more naturally to all of us, because that's how we have studied through the course. I can't say the same thing for my daughter, because she does a lot of stuff on the computer right from the get-go, right? But as soon as you get in the habit of reading and then making notes, automatically when you've done that exercise for about 10 passages, automatically you would be able to do that even when you see it on the screen.
The other piece is you are trying to figure out where you're going wrong, right? So you've got to use the medium that helps you figure that out the most, regardless of whether that's going to, because you're looking to close those gaps. When you go in the exam, if you're able to close these gaps at this stage, when you go in the exam, you won't have those gaps to close, right? Those gaps would have been closed already. So it's very, very important. I mean, when you're learning, you just don't say, okay, I'm not going to have the luxury to do this on the exam. I won't do it at all. No, there's a fair runway between now and the exam.
Mm-hmm. And I guess by saying that, you're just being too hard on yourself. By controlling each and everything, by optimizing each and everything, you end up making things so hard for you. You end up making GMAT preparation as a journey, a very arduous journey. It doesn't have to be that tedious. Just simplify things. Do one thing right basically compartmentalize yourself. Fix one thing, then move on to fix another thing. And again, you're all working professionals. Whenever you take up a project in your office, you don't start to fix everything together. You fix one thing, you do it right, then you move on to the next thing, you do it right, and then slowly and steadily you get to the accomplishment, right?
Just
That's how you
fix
have
it
to.
so that it doesn't break anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all I would say.
Yeah. So treat your GMAT as a project.
And it's no different, trust me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Payal, you can, yeah.
Okay. So Rajat, do you want me to go through his account first, or should I just go through?
No, I think you should go through his account. We want to really go look at the additional level of fine tuning that we discovered when we went through his account.
Okay, so Pradeep did quite a few questions. So in RC, he's done 82 passages. So 82 questions.
27 passages.
Yes, 27 passages. So 82 questions. In SC, he's done 100 questions. In CR, he has done 98 questions. So he's done a lot of questions. But as I said, he didn't take even a single note. He didn't. He bookmarked a few set of questions only. All right. So I should go to skill data, Rajat.
Yes, let's go to skill data. So this is the first screen in skill data. And what you can really see, I'm not going to focus on SC and CR right now, but let's focus just on RC first. And you can really see 59% overall accuracy. And you can also see a few things. First of all, the accuracy in easy is also very low. In medium is also low. And in difficult questions is low as well. So I mean, it's kind of consistent, which is not what it should be. Okay. If you correspondingly see CR, easy has got 23 out of 24 correct. Okay, and as he goes from easy to difficult, his accuracy drops down, which is what you should see. I mean, there's a reason why a difficult question is difficult, because not many people are able to get that right. Payal, I think you'll have to erase your annotations right now. So, yeah. Now, so let's go into the RC section, and the story would be even more telling.
By the way, this is how you should be reviewing your Scholarium data, right? So you look at what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. In SC also, Rajat, I'll just quickly point out, his medium and hard accuracies are, so if you compare that with easy, easy, he's getting more questions wrong here, relatively speaking. So Pradeep, what you should do is just go back and take a look at what kind of concepts did you miss there. You shouldn't be missing these easy questions. So maybe you were just careless there, or maybe it's just 1 or 2 bit concepts which you just need some brush up on.
Or maybe these were the first questions that you attempted. That
Right.
was also a possibility.
Also
but again,
yeah.
But let's go to verbal RC, which is what I want to focus on. So let's go through let's skip the passage types first.
Okay.
So I want to go towards the question types now.
So function,
So look at 73% in function, 73% in detail, and look at the hard accuracy over there. 6 out of 7 correct in detail. Okay, 3 out of 4 correct. But as you go towards inference question, okay, you can really see 0 out of 3 wrong, out of 3, 5 out of 14, and 7 out of 15. That's what's killing him in inference. And in RC, I'm sorry, main idea, decent. And again, can you improve over 74? Yes, you can. But bottom line is, if there was one thing that you want to focus all your energy on, it is that inference. Okay, let's go up 38%. You can really see the numbers over there. Okay, Payal, let's go to now. When I looked at this, and then Payal actually looked at a CR inference number, and Payal, let's go to CR inference, because essentially the inference skill is the same. 56%. There's not a whole lot of content over there. There aren't that many questions, but still, what you can really see is CR inference isn't as great either.
Look at the amount of time that Pradeep is taking to do CR, medium questions, inference. That's quite a lot of time, right?
It's decent, yes. Again, I'm not going to focus on timing as such as a whole lot. But bottom line is, one thing, as I say, focus, inference is an issue. And he's done 27 passages, which means he's done probably 50 inference questions already that he can go and review and figure out where is he making a mistake, what kind of answer choices are pushing him to make a mistake. Is he not comprehending a certain structure or a certain part of a certain kind of information out there? But if he just focuses on that and looks at his mistake and revises, I'm sure in as few as 3 days he's going to be able to improve in this category, and consequently he should be able to drive up his verbal score from V34 to V37 or 36-37 just by doing this. 3 days of effort, by the way. Nothing.
And again, he doesn't need any new set of questions. You don't need to even attempt any new questions, because you already have so much of arsenal in your GMAT prep right now.
Okay, at least for your learning.
Yes, for your learning.
For evaluation, you still need something, but for your learning, you learn from your mistakes. He's at a V34. You're at a point where you can learn from your mistakes.
Definitely, yes.
Okay. So I wanted to illustrate a couple of things using this. First of all, how to narrow down to figure out where you need to improve. The second thing is how to use data. I mean, Scholarium gives you this data. How to use it to be able to do that. And you'll see us add more and more features that will make analysis a lot more simpler. Okay.
So I'd like to add one more thing about the passage type also, Rajat, right?
Yeah.
So when we were looking at your data, Pradeep, we thought that is there a certain kind of passage which is making you, cost your passages, your questions. What we felt was that, humanities, so almost everything across the board, you have a similar accuracy, except for physical sciences here. Biosciences is the thing which is pulling you down even further. But as such, what I could tell was that it's not really one specific passage type. It's not like you are at more than 80% in in say physical sciences and business, but you are under 50% in humanities or in biosciences. It's not like that. Yes. So it is pretty much comparable across the board. This data point plus the fact that you are not doing as well in the inference questions, these two things combined tell me that you are not able to understand the passage in its entirety.
I actually have a curious question for Pradeep or Priyanka. I kind of missed that discussion. What's your background?
Civil engineer.
Okay, so any reason why physical sciences? I mean, do you? I mean, it's actually two passages, so that's not in a lot of data. But any reason why you hate biosciences and love physical sciences?
No, not really.
Okay.
No reason. My mother wanted me to be a doctor. I studied
That's why
biology.
you hate it.
God save the patients.
No, actually, I can share one data.
Mhm.
Like I can say before 4 days, this percentages was 29% accuracy. So in 4 days, I figured out what was my fault,
What was
and
your fault?
I was missing these extreme words in the options, like this has been done to a very large extent, which
Mhm.
shouldn't be, which is a wrong answer choice.
Mhm.
And while I was like analyzing, doing the POE, I was missing those words.
Mhm.
So after I did the 3 mocks, I saw that RC was my weak point. I am trying to analyze this, and what I can see in 3 days, although it is not a very high accuracy rate, but still I am figuring out what is my weakness. And right now, like today, I can say there is I don't know how much it will be for data. Today I did like 13 questions in RC from Newton test, which comes like free in GMAT Plus test. And out of 13, I got 12 correct.
Okay, that
So just on like focusing on those words which I was keeping on like missing while doing the POE. So
Okay.
it's not the understanding of the passage, it's the understanding of the options I was missing.
yeah. So when you read an option statement, you've got to really say what is this option saying before you put it in the context of the passage. You have to take that step systematically. So you're not doing that consciously, is what you're telling me, right?
No, I was pre-thinking the answer. Yes, inference is a weak point both in CR and in RC. In CR, another one is evaluate the question, although the percentages are showing high, but still it is one of my weakness. So in inferences, it is my weakness, but I am doing this step by step. I am trying to figure out what should be the inference.
Mm-hmm.
In RC right now, I am getting closer to the correct answer, but while doing the POE, I am missing those extreme words.
So
That's
I
why.
think and that's precisely what I was trying to say. Yes, you were doing the pre-thinking, but you still have to do the POE. And while doing the POE, when you read an answer choice, you have to first look at the answer choice and really say, what is it really saying before you really say whether it matches with the pre-thinking or whether is this the correct inference. So you are now doing that thing in isolation where you're looking at the answer choice statement, choice A, choice B, and really saying what is it doing, what does it mean when the author writes something in the answer choice, and then you're really saying does it match my pre-thinking or is it the correct inference. So you're
Yes.
consciously doing that now, right?
Yeah.
And which is
So
good.
yeah, that's why I want to ask: is it the correct approach, or I should be more focusing on the analysis of passage?
No, it is the correct approach. I mean, again, you have to figure out, and that's kind of one of those things that we can't do because again, we are not in the private tutoring business. But really, how you should do is the questions that you've answered incorrectly. You should really look at them and say, where did I falter? Was my understanding wrong?
Mhm.
Which means that that I thought this is the inference, but the passage says this is not the inference, or did I misread the answer choice for it to represent X, whereas while it represented Y? Okay, if you're misreading the answer choice and you thought the answer choice represented X, whereas the words in the answer choice make it represent Y, then your focus needs to be on reading and understanding the answer choice, right?
Yes.
So that's if that's what you've figured out.
Because right now I can see the like change in accuracy in Scholarinium. It was 29%.
Wow.
after I think doing like 15 or 16 passages.
Mhm.
So then after doing the mocks, I could figure out RC is my weak point. And then I started analyzing how to like rectify it. So I can double this accuracy rate, but still I have to go beyond it.
Yes, I
Right.
think it's the focus that's important. So
Because
the
right
way
now
you're
I'm in
focusing.
very deep confusion, which I think after this session I will get some answers.
So Pradeep, again, so what we would recommend is go back to these 27 passages. My recommendation would be do not try any new content right now. I know that you are trying out Newton passages, but frankly, as an
No, it was
right,
just to see my accuracy, but
and
I
that's
for
and again
verbal
that is why I'm saying
e-GMAT
do
is my
not.
Bible.
I know, but again, Newton passages, I'm not sure about the difficulty level of those. You already have so much data here, right? So before till the time you don't, yes, you've been able to hone into one possible area, which is that you are missing out on the extreme words, right? But again, you have this. I mean, I always say you have data lying with you. Utilize that data and then make a decision accordingly, right? So solve these passages again, review, utilize the detailed solutions that have been given to you, utilize those solutions to guide you at which step you are going wrong. You should be able to tell that, okay, in this passage I messed up this question because I didn't understand this part of the passage very well, or in this passage I missed out this inference question because I didn't pay attention to this particular word in the answer choice.
And make notes while doing that so that when you look at your notes, you can really say, hey, there's a consistent theme that is going around. Okay, it's very, very, I mean, this seems like a very trivial thing that we are realizing, but trust me, it makes a huge impact.
No, actually, what happened during solving the OG questions, I was always doing the summarizing, writing the summarize in my diary. But right now, while I am doing the scholaranium, I am thinking of the exam where I cannot write. I have to prepare the summary of the passage mentally. So that's what I am practicing.
Okay, do
Well,
not do that right now.
hold on, even on the exam, it's not that you cannot write.
Because right now I am getting low score because of time issue. If I start writing, then I don't know whether I can.
No, hold on. Why do you, again, why do people have issue in timing?
Sorry,
Why do people have issue in timing?
you were asking me like why I
Yes.
am facing the issue.
Why do people have issue in timing?
Because I think the clarification in the concept.
No, people have issue in timing because they read something, they don't comprehend it fully, look at the answer choices and say, oh, I've got to read it again because I didn't comprehend it fully in the first go. Let me go reread it. Right? How many of you go back and reread the passage again while doing when you're answering questions? Okay.
Wow, this question has the maximum show of hands.
Yes. Why does that happen? Because you don't write that thing down.
Guys, do things right the first time so that you don't have to do them again.
GMAT is not a speed test. I mean, there's no business which says, hey, you've got to do things fast, and fast. Right? It's a test of a methodical approach. If you are writing things down, what you would find is your need to go back and refer to the passage is going to go down significantly. You'd be able to reject more answer choices right off the bat because of the comprehension. Because why are you going back to the passage? To improve your understanding, right?
Yes.
If your understanding is good from the get-go, it's like, how many of you are software engineers or develop a product here? Anyone?
Yeah, there are a few here.
Okay, I can't see all.
Yeah.
If you test your products, if you test them during the development stages, if you have test cases built in right then and there, your time to release goes down in reality, right? That's what the latest development processes are. They make you do modular testing before you actually do system level testing. And by the way, those modular test cases are derived from the system level cases. And in the end, your product is released on time. It's very similar to this. If you comprehend this, if you have fewer gaps in comprehension while you're reading the passage, you won't go back to the passage again and again.
Now again,
And
this
you would save on
doesn't
time.
exactly. But again, so Rajat, I do want to clarify one point. It doesn't mean that when you are marking an answer, you should not go back to the
Yes.
passage to verify your answer. You should definitely go back to the passage to verify, but don't go back to the passage to understand the passage. Your understanding of the passage should be full and final after you have read the passage the first time. Right? But when you're marking an answer, you can go back and make sure that you are marking the correct answer. Make sure that, yeah.
And you see that automatically happen. Your need to go back, your brain would automatically say, you don't need to go back. You know what the right answer is, or you know why that this is absolutely wrong for a good number of answer choices. And first of all, to be able to achieve that level of comprehension, you will have to modulate your reading speed, where you say, hey, there's dense language here, let me slow down, because I seem to be missing what the author is saying here during reading the passage. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay.
So Pradeep, don't rush yourself. You're being too hard on yourself by timing yourself, by not taking summaries, because you won't get that chance in the exam. You will get that chance. And again, this goes back to what I said initially. Don't be too hard on yourself. You are putting a lot of constraints on yourself right now.
Yeah,
See,
I'm like,
in CR, you
yeah,
probably don't have that problem because you're already at that high accuracy level in SC and CR, right? You will be able to get there in RC as well if you give yourself room to get to that level.
I mean, if you don't trust us, do an experiment, right? You have that luxury right now. You can really say, let me just take notes, read the passage properly, do 4 questions, and by the way, see how long do I take.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
no, I have complete trust on e-GMAT team because I know where I was in like Varvel. I was like the average Joe, as you give the example. So right now I can improve upon, like, I can see my improvement in SC. In CR, still I am not very much confident in some sections which I am trying to improve. And RC, yes, definitely it's a weak section. So whatever you suggest me, I will surely follow.
Okay.
But yes, as Rajat told me, I have always one eye on the clock during the mock. Because if after 10 questions the timing shows 45 minutes left, I start panicking, and there my score goes down.
Here is my other thing with the mocks, right? How many mocks have you taken so far?
3.
Okay. How many questions in Scholarium have you answered?
I have to check, like,
But approximately you've answered 400 questions,
yeah,
right?
I
More or
guess.
less.
Yeah.
The exact number doesn't matter, Payal.
Yeah.
So you have a handle on how long you take for an SCCR and RC question, right? Suddenly, when you go in the exam, you're not going to become a zombie and really say, if I were taking a minute and a half to answer an SC question, now I start taking 3 minutes on the exam. That's not
your
going to
tuck
happen.
time. Yeah.
You've known your tuck time. You've done enough practice. So trust yourself.
No, the problem is when I started Scholarium, I was doing like 5 questions at a time.
Yes.
Oh,
8.
yes.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
get to
We'll
that.
come to that.
Yes.
We'll
Yeah.
come to
So
that. Don't
Rajat,
worry.
it's going to be 8. So I think let's go through this quickly. Yeah. Okay. This was one. Okay. So I won't come to this one right now. So again, so my recommendation for RC was that you take up one passage at a time, you review it, the detailed solutions, figure out where you went wrong. Do the same thing with SC and CR as well, right? You appear to be decently well in your conceptual and process for both the sections, but take up one section, revise in batches of 5 questions, right? Review the solutions in detail for medium and hard questions. For correct answers, figure out that whether you got the answers correct because of the right reasons or not. That's very important, right? Did you answer it correctly for the right reasons? Were you able to figure out that particular nuance in a wrong answer choice? If you didn't catch that while attempting the question, you need to be able to catch that when you are reviewing the solution, so that you take that learning with you for the next set of questions that you will answer. Okay, for the wrong questions, definitely figure out why you did that question wrong. right? So, for each question, spend about 20-25 minutes just reviewing the question.
For each
That
passage,
is,
I'm sorry.
for each question I'm talking about,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, again, for the initial set of 5 to 10 questions, I would say spend 20-25 minutes. We have written these detailed solutions with an intent.
Okay.
Once you do that, then you will be able, you will have learned all that stuff. You will have assimilated all the essence in those solutions. Then you can go and do more quick reviews if you need to.
Okay, I have a couple of questions that I want to take on, which are very similar questions. The questions really are, Payal, because we're running out of time. I want to take those questions on.
Sure. Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, yes, you can stop sharing. So the questions are, I think, when should I use Coloranium? And the other question that I saw right now was, when should you go from SC and CR to RC? Both are kind of related questions. So when should you use Coloranium? When you're doing an e-GMAT course, when you are towards the last 20% of the course, you can use Coloranium to create section level quizzes to evaluate your ability. However, it is not a substitute for doing OG questions. You still have to do OG questions. It is not a substitute for applying the process. Coloranium is there to evaluate your ability. Okay, it'll tell you, it'll give you a, it'll show you the mirror, frankly. That's why it's built out there. We don't want you to go on the, and the reason we built this as an exam prep tool, not just as a mock tool, is to really, so that you are able to see the mirror when you're doing an SC course and you're doing a CR course, and so on. Okay. Also, when you're done with all the courses, you can use Coloranium. Okay. The second question, when should you go from SC to CR, CR to RC, or SC and CR to RC, is when you have gotten to a 70% ability level in either SC or from SC then correspondingly to CR. That is assuming you're looking for a score which is V34, V35 or higher. If you're not looking for a V35 score, then of course a lower score is there. Okay, how many questions should you do at one time in Coloranium? Really good question, Payal. Time for you to share your desktop if you still have the account open. I would say when you're taking a Coloranium quiz, do at least 12 questions. Don't do what Priyanka is doing, which is, if you look at his attempts dashboard, Payal,
I think it will be better if I show
the presentation.
Slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's taking like 4 questions, 7 questions, 4 questions. I mean, yes, it feels nice to get the results right away, but you've got to give yourself, you've got to get into a rhythm.
So here you do need to challenge yourself.
You do need to challenge yourself.
Don't go easy on yourself when it comes to taking the mock.
If you take 5 questions, you are at 82%, 85%, 82%. It doesn't tell me anything. If you're taking 2 questions, 50%, you may have gotten 1 question wrong because of something. Should we time yourself in an application quiz? No. Early on, for the first 5 application quizzes, do not time yourself.
Not at all. I mean, I would actually even say that, when you are learning the concepts, do not time yourself at all. Till the time you don't reach practice section, do not time yourself. Time is an outcome. It will automatically fall in place. As soon as you become comfortable with the process, time will, I just feel like a broken record when I keep saying that,
Okay. And one last piece before I need to actually go, Payal. But one last piece that I would really say is, when we say don't time yourself, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be mentally agile. You should be. Okay, you should be mentally committed to learning at that point in time. I just want to make sure we don't preach that piece.
Yeah. But don't force yourself to not attempt questions. All right, guys, let me stop at this now. I hope this was helpful to all of you. And we will, we will look forward to your feedback. And if you like this thing, then we are going to continue having these sessions. We'll see if we can do it every week or maybe every other week. So, but we do have a hard stop right now. Yes, hi Pradeep.
Yeah, I have a final question. Like, I don't know how the pattern works, like scoring patterns works in GMAT. I want to ask you, like, if I find some question very hard, irrespective of quant or verbal, and I am seeing that I have spent like more than 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. Should I just let it go, or
Pradeep, have you gone through our tactical strategy session?
no?
Okay, watch that session. In fact,
Okay.
there's going to be a session week after next that I'll be conducting, but again, you don't need to wait for that long. Watch that session. I can give you a simple answer right now, but it would be better if you see that with all the explanations that we provide. So it's a strategy session too. So watch the latest recording on that. You will get your
Okay.
answers. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
like,
Uh-huh.
personally speaking, should I be able to break the 700 score
Oh yes, you should be able to. No
after
problems
the
at all.
third exam?
If you do what we have asked you to do, you should not have any problem.
Focus on improvement is what I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, because this MGMAT mock has like shattered
Forget
my
about
confidence.
no. Forget about MGMAT mock. I've already said, right. Don't trust MGMAT mock as a score
There's one
predictor.
point that we did not make, guys. When you take mocks, take mock from one source so that you can compare mock 1 to mock 2 to mock 3. You take mock from different
Suggest us
sources.
from where we should do the mock.
GMAT prep, Veritas prep,
And Scholaranium.
and Scholaranium is your evaluation.
All right. Tuesday. I don't know how you pronounce your name. So sorry if I'm doing some. Yeah.
No, it is correct. You pronounced
Okay. Uh-oh.
The audio went away.
Yeah. She was raising her hand so much. Okay. Yes. So Cham Future. I know you mentioned your name here.
Yeah.
Assam, right? Let me see.
Asma Sulaiman.
Asma. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful name.
Okay. I did the GMAT test in the April 1st, and I did 16 in the verbal section. I don't know what is the problem, even though I do all the GMAT preparation question, okay, and I have 6 months I prepared for just for the verbal section. I faced difficulty in the reading comprehension because when I'm transition the word, okay, I was able to answer the question faster. But the problem that I face, because I'm not native, I have 3 years here in Canada, so I face a difficulty in the meaning of the word.
So you have difficulty in understanding the meaning of a few words. Is that?
Yeah. That's the problem that that I face. Like I don't know how can I fix this problem.
Okay. So again, we in the RC course in the reading strategies file, we have we basically have a section where you say how do you infer meaning of words in reading comprehension. Okay, so that's something that you should use. That's first piece. The second piece is, GMAT does assume a certain level of English, which we call colloquial English in US. Now, certain words may seem a bit foreign to you, and I think but you don't need to learn the GRE word list. No, GMAT is by no means that. But if you find that there are words that you have to learn, for which you have to learn the meanings, then just write them down in a separate notepad, or use Evernote or OneNote to write them down and their meanings, and just revise them, and also write the context. I would say it's one of those things which is good habit. And if you do that, with the amount of practice that you see in the official guide, with the amount of practice that you see in GMAT prep as Scholaranium, if you follow that habit, you would find even halfway during your prep, you would not face those difficulties unless and until you reach those V40s, which I think is a good place to be in the first place.
Okay, so I have another question about the take notes. Should I take notes during I prepare I reading the section? Because the problem that is that when I'm try to take notes, I don't know which type of notes I should to take. Like I find it sometimes some word it's repeated more than once in the more in like along the passage, like in the passage number 1, number 2, number 3 paragraph. It's okay. So I find it the same word repeat. So I don't know, and sometimes the question.
What is the purpose of taking notes, if I may ask, Asma?
The purpose of taking notes to understand the meaning of the paragraph.
Yes. So the notes that you should take should be the kind that help you understand what's there.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm understand the meaning of the paragraph, but sometimes I find the question, it's okay, especially in the unfair question, they asked about like specific thing related to this word. So what, like I find it myself, I need to go again to the bus and read it over. all of the passage, the paragraph 1, 2, 3, because all of them include the same one. So I'm trying to find the information that related to this one.
No. So Asma, again, the thing really is if you feel the need to go. So there's only one question type in which you will feel the need to go back to the entire passage, if at all that you need to feel to. So even in that, it's going to be a very difficult question, which is a global inference question. Where and the question wording of global inference question would be, which of the following cannot be inferred from the passage, or it'll be of a generic thing that the entire passage talks about. Okay. For everything else, which is about 90% of all the reading comprehension questions, you will not have to do this. Now, if you feel like doing that, which this means that when you read the passage, you did not comprehend it properly to begin with. That is an indication, a leading indicator of that, okay, if you feel like going back to the passage and reading it again in paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, then this means you did not comprehend the passage, which means that when you read the passage for the first time, you should be taking more proper notes. Go slow while reading the passage.
And should I reading the whole of the passage before?
Asma, I will need to interject here. I think we are going too much into the subject matter aspect of it, and we are moving away from the strategy aspect of it.
Yeah, but one last piece, Payal, is if you think you should stop even when reading one paragraph, if you think that it's going above your head, slow down.
Yeah.
That's what I would really say. Should not read the passage in one go and say, what does the passage say? Trust me, even when I do that, I make lots of mistakes.
Okay, let's take one more question.
Yes.
Geets R has raised hand since quite a long time, so let's just see if he or she can tell his question. I don't know how to do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's Geets. I can't hear him. Okay. All right. Let's take Paul George. He was, yeah. Go ahead, Paul. Can't hear you.
Yeah, your audio is your microphone is not working. You can type your question as well.
Yes,
can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you were speaking about Veritas tests and the GMAT prep, but as part of the course, we also get GMAT club tests. So what's your take on GMAT club tests?
For verbal, they are not good predictors.
Okay.
In fact, even BB says himself that they're not known for verbal.
Okay.
Okay. For quant, if you are at Q47, then they'll help you.
Okay.
If you're not at Q47, then I think they're just too hard for you.
So I'm a retaker at GMAT. I got 650 in my previous attempt with a verbal 32 and a quant 48. So I'm looking at retaking the GMAT in, say, 45 days or 60 days time. And I just signed up for the e-GMAT course. So I started doing the course as per the regular plan. So what would your suggestions be so that, in a short span of 45 days or 60 days, I try and get to a 700 mark?
So step one, you have a score. Take your enhanced score report. Tell us where you need to improve the most.
Okay.
Okay, start with that section. Step two, just to verify that, take a 25 verbal scholarinium quiz again to make sure that whatever findings that GMAT prep has told you or your enhanced score report has told you, they kind of corroborate with them, and then start with your weakest section. In your weakest section, make sure you do the concept and application files well. Now, in certain concepts, you can go directly to the post-assessment quizzes, and because you are at a V32, which means you have a foundation, at least in the early on concepts, if you feel like. And again, focus on the application files. Focus on OG questions again, as Payal really said.
With the process.
With the process, yes.
Okay.
And do not time yourself when you are learning.
Okay, but one question. So since I'm targeting a 45-day or a 60-day period, do you think it's realistic, whatever I'm targeting, from whatever you say it is, from where I am to where I want to get to?
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of people, what they don't realize is they say, there's this wealth of stuff that I need to do, and I have 45 days, right? I mean, it's overwhelming. I agree with you. Okay.
Okay.
But the key is not the wealth of stuff. The key is doing what you're doing and doing it right.
Okay.
One slide that Payal did not show is another attempt of a student who's at a V39 right now, and she's taken 3 mock tests, then all of them GMAT prep. the number of questions that are wrong are highest in, I think, in her attempt, where she has a V42.
Yep. So if you look at it, 11 verbal mistakes and her score is V37. 12 verbal mistakes and her score is V40. So it's okay to make mistakes. You can make mistakes. The thing is that you have to get to that level in the test.
And the other thing that I want to emphasize on is to really say, for you to improve, you've got to get the difficult questions right, which means it's the depth of learning that matters.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, look at the strategy session 2 recording. That is really very powerful when it comes to how to fine tune your preparation, when it comes to how to take mocks and how to review your mocks, and how to track the right metrics after you're done, during your preparation, as well as when you are fine tuning your prep.
Okay.
All right, so I think Rajat, let's call it a day now. Yeah.
Guys, I know you have questions. We'll do these sessions again and again. Please send us your profiles in detail, so we can take a few of them. I think that's kind of the key. But feedback. I hope you found this session useful. Is this a worthy investment of an hour of your time? Okay, and very frank feedback, because we invest time in this as well, so we want to know whether we should do this or not. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, guys, and we look forward to seeing you. Next week then.
Yeah, and for me, it's very good to actually see faces.
Exactly.
I can really tell you that. Right. Okay.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.